we touched on this video. It's actually been a few years now. A few years ago. Don't know if we deleted it or whatever. But it initially got a lot of hate. And so we just walked away from it. And we didn't revisit it. And we just, you know, we didn't get annoyed. We just, when something's negative, we don't even try to confront it. We just move on. We don't care.
It's like whatever.
Because we talked about the situation before about us being
Our
interracial,
relationship and all that. How
being different cultures and all these things. Another funny thing too is we have two like major haters. One is an African American female who said that our marriage is an abomination, and then the other one was a Pakistani man who said that if we ever visited Pakistan, he would kill us. You know, and that he tried to say that Islam does not endorse this. Yeah, does not endorse this. One of those two people are the ones who always dislike our videos. Because it's always that one dislike. And I'm like, it's got to be one of those two.
Still following.
Why? Yeah, why waste the energy to, you know, follow us then and see what we're going to say next just so you can go, no, I don't like that. But we got it was a beautiful message actually. So I want you to read it because I know I'll mispronounce that. So
okay.
What is her name?
Aisha Fasil.
Okay. She made a comment, and this was just yesterday actually. So what does it say?
What a beautiful family, mashallah. Can you do how you got together and how your wife told her parents she wanted an interracial marriage? New subscriber.
Like I said, we touched on this before, and we'll touch it on again. You know, like I said, we don't. I can understand how movie stars and I've seen on their other channels, fan channels, they turned off comments. In our case, we just turn off the video. You know what I mean? We just say, okay, we're not even going to deal with even seeing it. See, even Jesus says, and that's the other thing too. They will dislike a video on her. You know, like, so you know it's one of those two people. Why would you dislike a video on an innocent child? You know, there's nothing to dislike about it. Yeah. But anyway, so we're going to revisit that subject. And it's been 10 years. And we had plans of, you know,
Renewing the vows, getting married again.
Renewing the vows on
going on another honeymoon.
Yeah. Going over to the Bahamas or something. And
thank you, COVID-19.
Yeah, it's not going to happen right now. She was even preparing her wedding vow dress. What's the name of it? Because I don't want to mispronounce that either.
Yep.
What was the dress though?
My wedding dress.
But the traditional name?
Lehenga, yeah.
Or lehenga. She was preparing that. So, not going to happen right now.
I got jewelry and everything for it.
Yeah.
Some matching stuff.
So that sucks.
Jewelry and everything.
Yeah. Firstly, we met at Walmart. And that is one of the fond memories we have of Walmart.
We're the Walmart couple.
Yeah,
That's what.
And she was the store manager and I was a cashier. And I had a cage fighting team. And I didn't have insurance at the time that they said you need to get it or you would get fined and so on and so forth. Man, that much time has went by already? Man. So there was a lot of chaos with that. So I worked at Walmart part-time so I could get the insurance. And then I saw her. This is one of those things where you knew it was kismet. When I saw her, I was like, I thought I dreamed about this female, you know. But I was like, it doesn't matter, you know, because she doesn't, you know, to me, I just felt like women of her culture don't marry anyone or date anyone other than people from their own culture. To skip ahead, though, we're going to get to the part about what she asked, was how you talk to your parents about it. So long story short, it was fast. We didn't date long. How many dates was it?
We only went on 8 dates in 2 months.
8 dates, 2 months, and then we got married.
8 days.
So
8 days.
we knew everything just clicked, and it's one of those things where my mom always said, she always said, "You're gonna know when it's really the one." When
We
it's,
actually knew the first time. The first time I touched you before the first date,
right,
I knew you were the one.
right,
That's so weird.
yeah. That was. I'll touch on that briefly, and she can give her viewpoints as well. But I had gotten into a disagreement with another manager. He was very rude to me. I was angry, and I walked away because I was going to have a few choice words to say to him. Then, since I was already having a bad day because I worked overnight, I decided to go tell him anyway. But she was there. She was in my way. So she calmed me down just by rubbing my back. She rubbed my back and she said, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Don't be upset." And that's when I looked over her and I said, "This is my wife." Once you knew that, because we both could tell when we knew we wanted to be together. How did you feel you were going to even tell your parents? What did you think?
I didn't even think about that. That's the weird thing. I didn't talk to them at all. Because when I first touched you and you were upset, I had that urge to hold you and comfort you, and I knew you were the one. And I'm like, it felt like that we have been together for Lord knows how long.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that was the feeling. It's like, that's when I was like, this is the one. This is the guy who's
Right.
meant for me.
Right.
So that was a weird thing though. But no, I never thought about telling my parents or nothing. And when I first
Especially in your
asked
culture,
you out,
though,
yeah,
that is a big no-no, though, in your culture.
it's
right?
big, yeah.
And
and
I know
then-
that. I've been with her for a long time, so I'm very familiar with her culture now.
That's what like it was so weird because it was the very next day when I asked you out, remember? And I was leaving with my mom
Yeah.
from work, and I stopped my mom at the door, and I'm like, "Mom, wait a second, I'll be right back." And I came to you, and I asked you out right there while you were dealing with the customers.
Right.
And I know my mom was looking, but
Right. She was sitting there staring, and I'm like, "Does her mother know what she's saying right now?" But your
Mom
mom
must-
is cool. So.
yeah, mom had a feeling. Mom knew. That's so weird. Mom knew because when we went on our first date, mom knew.
Right.
But she didn't say nothing. She was just smiling. She's like, "Okay, when are you gonna open up to me?"
Right. Yeah. Right.
But no, it was so weird because everything happened so fast, and I never thought about telling my parents. They just found out.
Right. So there you go. She didn't sit down to think about it. It did, and it honestly did happen. It was like a whirlwind, It caught
happened
me off guard.
extremely fast, and it was like we were not doing anything. It was just happening for us.
Right,
Everything
right.
was happening. It was
Right.
all like a setup, and we are like puppets, and we are just moving around. It's happening.
Right. Yeah, because like I said, I was fine, in my life prior to her. My focus was my children. And it still is. I mean, my wife is now my focus as well, but I was fine with my life. You know what I mean? I was having a good time. And I told myself I'd never get married again. I just didn't feel like I wanted to. And then all of a sudden she comes along, and it was like someone pushed the button and said, "This is who you're going to marry." And I had no fear. I had no fear of it. It's the weirdest thing. I had no fear about those feelings.
Like May 31st was when I left my house. That's the day when my dad found out that I'm dating him.
Right.
And I was so scared because I know my father. And even at work, he threatened and he told everybody that he will do different things to me and kill me and stuff. And I was scared because I know my father. He would do that. So first thing I did, he went to work. I went home at that time, packed my stuff, and left the house.
Should've gone.
Mom thought I was taking trash out, but I'm taking the trash out.
And it wasn't pretty at first.
It was.
At least just with the father. Everyone else was fine with it. Everyone else knew, and they were fine with it. And in fact, her mother said that it was a blessing because she said that,
She preferred him over my boyfriend.
right, which is
Who
says
was a
lot.
Pakistani.
Right, says a lot.
Yeah.
And her mother said that she would have the freedom that she did not have. And that isn't saying that is as the culture itself. We're just saying that that was the marriage, how the marriage went, not the culture, not the religion, just that marriage. And it's true because her father did come to work, and he threatened her, he threatened me, and then he called me the N-word. And he said that he's just fortunate I had restraint. I respected my wife. I didn't want my wife to see me give a beat down on her dad right in front of her, because it wouldn't have been pretty, you know. I teach mixed martial arts. And I'm not invincible, but I'm a skilled fighter, and I'm definitely a skilled street fighter. And that's actually how her father and I met. He wanted to go to some of the cage fights for my cage fighting team. And I didn't even, and actually he worked with us. I never knew that that was her father. Because when we talked, he gave no indication that any of his family worked there. Because your mother worked there, and
My
he
brother
worked there.
there.
Her brother and her, well, not at that
Sisters
time.
later on,
Her
though.
sisters later on.
But it was just me, my brother, mom, and dad. We all worked at the same place.
Right. And he never told me he had a son. Because he told me, this is ironic, he told me before he knew about us, that I was the kind of son he should have. And so I'm thinking like, oh, he must not have a son then. And then I was shocked when she said, Umar worked there, you know? So, you know, and I'm not trying to sit here to smear, it's not a smear campaign. I'm just saying these are things that we had to deal with when we first got together. Now, in the case of her with my family, and for the most part, your family, there were certain things they still need to understand about my culture. I think they were kind of confused because I'm African American, but there's also other races in my
Races in
family.
there, yeah.
So, you know, I'm a mixture of a few mixtures. I have certain family members that have lighter hair, lighter eyes. I mean my brothers and my sister. So to them, they didn't really think I was black. I'm African American. So that means I have, yes, African ancestry, black ancestry. And then I have other mixes like most African Americans do. It's just mine happens to be very intermediate, very, intermediate in my gene. In my family, it was more acceptable. Even to accept her culture and all that, it wasn't a problem. And actually, she was accepted with open arms. But you can say about your family, because it's your family. So you can say how, our initial, because we're not that way now. We're not that way now. We haven't been for a while. But initially, there were, some issues. So,
Some hesitations.
yeah. So she can talk
But
about it.
some of it is cultural, so many Pakistani women will understand that. And some is how our family traditions were. Just a direct family. Because when we were back in Pakistan, our father was very strict. Father and grandma. They were very strict. We weren't allowed to have friends. We weren't allowed to go nowhere. So from home to school, school to home. That's it. And even I wasn't allowed to communicate with my best friend. The only time I was allowed to call her was during summer when dad wasn't home. I will ask permission from mom and call her. And that's it. I never got to visit her until we had the bad times going on and we went through all that, and her family was the one who actually helped us. So that was only the time when I was allowed to actually openly communicate with her and talk to her more often, and a couple of times went to her house. And same with my older sister, she was the favorite of dad's, and her best friend somehow came out as our third cousin. So that was the only reason my sister was allowed to go to her house and spend some time there, but never overnight. So yeah, we were very strict. We weren't even allowed to talk to the neighbors or nothing.
Right.
So that affected even here. So once my parents are here, my family's here, after our marriage, they were very close because that's how we have been raised. We are not allowed to socialize. We were never allowed to have friends. We weren't allowed to talk to people. So they were the same way here with him too. They're like, okay, we don't know how to talk. We don't know what to say.
I mean, I will say that, but I also feel it was racially to an extent. The reason I say that is because
They weren't relaxed.
not just that, and I mean not just your intimate family. I'm talking about your family as a whole.
Oh yeah, my
There
uncle
are-
aunts, they completely shut down. The only person who accepted you was my nana. That's it.
Right. And that's interesting because, and it was off the premise that I wasn't Muslim. So I initially tried to convert, but I got a lot of hate, even before her, I tried to convert. And I just didn't feel comfortable. And I'm not putting down the religion, I'm just saying that there was a lot of hate towards me. And then I had a translator who could tell me what people were saying, and that made me more uneasy, when you really know now what people are saying about you. But there are white people that were married into the family, and they weren't Muslim either, but they didn't get that same.
They're accepted. Nobody forced them ever to change their religion or anything
Right,
except
right.
just you.
But yeah, me. But they were like, you have
Because
to be
you're
Muslim,
black.
right?
Yeah.
So that was a problem. Then after a while, we just said we don't care what everybody's thinking. We were like Jojo Siwa. We were like, I don't care.
I don't care what you say. I'm gonna come back like a boomerang, and that's what we are.
Yeah.
We don't care. We're gonna make you more jealous.
Yeah. So, what do you feel? Because what do you feel the initial negative things were? Just a few. We don't need to harp on it, but what do you think a few initial negative things were from the Pakistani side regarding being married to me?
The first most thing was the religion, that you were a Muslim. The second thing was you were black.
Right. It's just that's how it worked. It's not like she was delivered.
I didn't do it on purpose. It just happened.
Yeah.
Can't leave alone.
Yeah, and she was a grown woman, but she wasn't allowed to leave anywhere without
Somebody.
Yeah.
Your
So,
company.
but was there any other negatives? On the first one?
There are many.
Not just a few though. I
It's
don't want
like
to harp. Yeah.
how I was pressured, and my dad will be constantly calling me every day that come back home. It's like, but no, I can't.
And that's when your father disowned you.
It was before that though. He decided.
Right, but it was
As
official
soon as I
then.
got, yeah,
Because he kept
that's
asking.
when it was. Yeah, it
Because
was
he kept asking you
official.
to come home, and then after that, he was just like, "You're dead to me."
It's
He even sent me a
completely-
message on Facebook and said, "My daughter is dead to me." So that is some of the negatives that you have to be really strong
You
to
have
be.
to. Yeah.
And
You have to be
I would
ready to
say,
accept that you will not have a family, because I did not have a family
yeah,
for
not
the
a
longest
while,
time. No
yeah.
cousins, no siblings, nobody. I had nobody.
Right. I mean, even ones that were in Pakistan that would message us or talk to us via Facebook or whatever and say, "Hey, how you doing, guys?"
They were just trying to find.
But it wasn't until
Just
I
the
found
gossip
out
stuff.
from her, other family members. Oh no, they're just saying that just to try to get information from you. They don't really like you.
They definitely, they don't care for you at all.
And I'm like, wow, that's crazy, So you have to be strong to be in an interracial relationship.
You have to be ready, and you have to make sure before you decide to be in a racial relation, any
yeah.
relationship, that your partner is gonna be there for you. He's gonna be supportive. Because I was lucky enough that he was my partner. His family accepted me immediately. His mom, she loves me like a daughter. She never called me daughter-in-law. She always called me daughter. She actually loves me. She hugs me, talks to me all the time.
She even says, "Where's my daughter?"
She always
She doesn't even
asks
call
for
her by
it.
her name. She calls her daughter.
And if I get a missed call from her, then why didn't you answer me? Didn't you know your mom is calling? Oh, I'm sorry, Mom. I
Right.
was busy.
Right.
She will get mad.
And keep in mind, though, you might not get that from both sides. Both sides may not like the fact. So
That
you
you
have to
got it
make sure that
together.
both of you have a strong
That
relationship.
you guys are there for each other, because that's what you actually need. You need each other. You are the one who are starting a family. So you might have to leave your family to start a family, but it's better if you can make it work out. Like there have been so many interracial couples where they say, okay, when a grandchild comes, everything changes, the parents accept you and everything. We had a grandchild. Never
The
happened.
the first of
The
the family.
first child, yeah, first grandchild in the family, in my family.
And there's still no children except for
Nope.
Gia.
Yeah, so still not accepted in the family at all.
And on top of that, the interesting thing is that it is difficult for them to bear children genetically in her family. So you think that Gia, it would be this, when she was first born, oh, this is a great thing.
Wow, it's a miracle.
No,
like
no one was there when she was born. No one was at the hospital, from her side of the family. And I understand in respect to your mother and your sisters, they had to follow your father and what he said. And what he said was, no, she's dead to us, so you cannot go.
It was a week and a half later after her birth was when they snuck out. And then they came. So
Right. So, I think all of this has just made us stronger. I mean, I feel like I'm still dating my wife,
yeah,
because,
it's like we don't act like we're married. We just act like we're still dating.
Right.
We're best friends.
and maybe that's what's helped us endure, because we still appreciate each other. We don't ever get too complacent in our relationship, and we always listen to each other, even if we don't want to, because it's not perfect. There are times it's perfect for us. Let's put it that way. But there are times we definitely have disagreements, and I'll be like, whatever, But I always tell myself, even when I'm mad at her, listen to your wife, okay? Don't say anything that you don't really want to say, because you can't take it back once you say it. So that's, and that's worked for us. That's really worked for us.
Because we still act like before marriage when we
Right.
were dating.
People even
Still go
even at
out,
work, they
still-
say, "Are y'all dating?" No, we've been married for a while.
I know at work people think we are
Yeah.
cheating on our spouses.
Yeah. 'Cause they're like, no one married ever is that lovely.
Yeah, they don't act like that.
Well, maybe they should
We
be,
have been
yeah.
actually married.
Right. So we hope we answered your question. What was your name? Aisha.
Aisha.
Aisha. So we hope we answered your question, gave you some insight onto us and our marriage. And thank you for commenting.